Welcome back to the City Current Show. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference, empowering the good in our community. We're honored to be joined by LeEllen Smith, founder of OUTsideIN. How are you doing, LeEllen?
I'm great, Jeremy. Thank you so much for inviting us to be on the show. We're just so honored to get to call people's attention to what we do here in Troy, Tennessee. We're in a tiny little rural area in West Tennessee, and we really need people to know about our story and what the good things that we do here.
Absolutely. And so that's the fun of this show, is raising awareness and highlighting your efforts and getting people involved. So let's start with a little bit of the backstory. Talk about what led you to found OUTsideIN.
Personally, I was a stay-at-home mom for a long time. After college, I worked a little bit in the private sector. Then I had 4 children and frankly, just didn't have time to work anymore. But one by one, they did start growing up, and I realized I was being downsized. And I began to think that I had a small window of opportunity to really make a difference in my community. And I thought about what that might look like. And it just so happened at that particular time, our county's largest employer pulled up stakes and left and took 2,000 of our best jobs with them. And so unemployment in my county was in excess of 11%. And that just sent a shockwave through us all. And I began to wonder what it would take to create a job, and could I create a job? Well, I remembered that I had a business degree, and I thought that I could. At that time, social enterprise was brand new. People were just beginning to learn about it. And I was very intrigued by that concept of making a difference instead of making a profit. And that was really the beginning of the thought process for OUTsideIN.
Let's go ahead and dive into the different products and kind of what you do, and then we'll share some of the lessons learned and how we can get involved. But how do you describe, because it's a lot of really colorful, creative pieces and kind of built around the idea of travel and accessories, but how do you describe everything you do with OUTsideIN?
Well, of course, our main goal is to create jobs for women who have been chronically unemployed, because they've had all kinds of different problems like addiction, or they may have been incarcerated. They may come from a background of poverty or just lack education. You know, right now I have a young mother working for me. I mean, I've been a young mother before. They are some of the most marginalized people around, I think. And so that's really our aim, is what can we do to create a job for these people? In the very beginning, I have to say, our products were made from t-shirts. We made all kinds of different things like skirts and scarves and little girl panties and just, if you name it, bow ties, we made it from t-shirts. And I have to smile about that now, because they were very interesting and unique products, to say the least. But that's where we got our start, and that's where we learned to have some confidence in ourselves and what we could do. And that's really at the root of empowerment, is having confidence in your own abilities and what you can do. And we learned a lot during that time. But a few years ago, we found an excellent source for fabric and upholstery weight fabric. And we found a cool zipper and a good way to put it in. And we began making a garment bag that is just fabulous, I think. We call it a hang-up because, of course, we're all about hurts, habits, and hang-ups around here, and it seemed the perfect name for a hanging garment bag. I like to say, if you don't have a hang-up already, you can get one at OUTsideIN. But that was kind of the springboard for what has become a pretty vast collection of travel gear. I'm really passionate about travel. I've loved to travel since I was a young person, and I just got back from a 2-week trip to Europe where I hiked across Liechtenstein, believe it or not. It's a very small country, and you can do that. But it was just travel gear just fits something I'm passionate about. And I love beautiful fabrics, and just putting those two things together helped us create this really eclectic line of fabric travel bags.
Share a little bit. You already have in terms of the inspiration, but when you look at some of the things that make you unique, obviously the storyline in and of itself and the individuals that are benefiting from this is a huge piece of the storyline. But give me maybe one or two other things that really do differentiate you in terms of what you're doing. And obviously the fabrics and the colors and the background and the accessories of what you're creating.
Well, we really do want to make a product that stands out in the marketplace. I say we're a small batch manufacturer. We're kind of that slow manufacturing thing. We give careful attention to detail. All our bags have just a small zipper pull on them made out of buttons and beads. That's unique. I mean, a gal here with an art degree puts those together for us and just puts that little touch on them that makes them really, I think, special to the people who are our customers. Just a couple of days ago, I overheard this lady say, well, you know, people are afraid of handmade products. And that really shocked me and bothered me, because I guess we've gotten so used to mass manufactured goods from who knows where that we think that's the ideal, and it's really not. What we do here, putting a lot of love and care in what we make, that's the ideal, I think. And it works for us as a social enterprise because it gives us this beautiful creative process. I like to say making something with your hands is good for your head. And it really is. I see it every day.
The cool thing is that as a social enterprise, though, you have something tangible that people can purchase that then goes back to support these philanthropic efforts with a higher purpose. And so it's a win for everyone involved. And obviously with each one, you look at like the travel bag, for instance, that's a story that someone is carrying with them wherever they go. That's a conversation starter. That's a unique piece. That's something that they can then talk about the mission and the purpose and the platform of the organization and the support and the women that it's helping. So I feel like there's a really cool storyline, but a synergistic impact in terms of what's created across the board. Talk about the stories, and you mentioned the young mother being one of them, but the stories of the individuals that you have a chance to work with who are benefiting from the efforts.
Yes, we've spent quite a bit of time bringing in from time to time volunteers from our community. We've had mentors come in, and that's a really powerful thing when a woman who is confident and empowered comes alongside someone who's not and shows them the really positive things about their lives that they should develop. So a while back, I hired a young lady. She actually came here as a volunteer through a program called Families First, where they want people that in that program to go do volunteer work. And that's how she came to me. And I'll be honest, I was a little skeptical. I worried that she couldn't maybe do the task that I needed her to do. But I was willing to take a chance on her and bring her in. And wow, I was really blown away with how well she caught on. And she had never sewn before, but she just really took to it. And one day, after a particularly productive day we had here, maybe the whole week, I guess, had been, when she got ready to leave that day, I said, Kayla, I said, you really did some good work this week. And she looked back over her shoulder at me and she said, yes, I did. And that is really, that's what we want here. That's what we're all working for here at OUTsideIN.
What's a lesson that you've learned doing this that has, you know, on the business side or the personal side, what's a lesson that you've learned through this process for yourself?
Well, one of the really hard lessons I've learned that I would really like to pass on to anybody that wants to launch an internet company like we have. You know, we've always known from the beginning that we had to be an internet company, an e-commerce site. We live in a tiny town, and there was just never going to be any way that we could grow and thrive without developing an online presence. And yet, I failed to realize how important excellent photography is for our website. So website development was difficult for us, and product photography also has been difficult for us. I think we've got a real good handle on both right now for a company our size, and I'm really proud of that. But I wished I'd known that lesson a long time ago.
What are some of your goals as we look at the end of 2021 and obviously 2022 and beyond? What are some of your goals?
Well, we've really come up with a really exciting goal here. It's large. It's maybe that elephant-sized thing. You know, every town, every community, every county has problems, and ours does too. I love this county. My husband and I both grew up here. We've raised our family here. We are lifelong Obion Countyans, and yet our community has problems just like others. One of the problems that my community has is the lack of residential housing for women in recovery. We have very few beds here. And the need for adequate resources like that for people in recovery, especially women, that's only growing. It's not getting smaller. So because of our work with women in recovery here at OUTsideIN, the fact that we have a social enterprise that can be a part of a recovery program for many people, has left us feeling like we were really in a really good position to step into that space and create a residential program for women in recovery as well. My husband's the judge in this county, so he also has a unique perspective on folks with those kinds of problems. And we're just very excited to have located a model, a plan that we like, a program that we want to copy. And we have a home already picked out. And so many things are falling into place. Now we're on a fairly extensive timeline for this whole process. We're not going to rush into it, but we're really, really excited.
What do you think this means for you and your family, especially your children, to see that, hey, my parents are modeling service, community service, giving back, helping others, using their resources to make an impact? What does this mean for your family and especially your children to see their parents working together to try to make a difference?
Well, we hope it's had a huge impact on them. We've always tried to convince our children that when it came time to select a career or a life's work, that it was more important to do something that made a difference than something that, you know, was going to fund a lifestyle of excess. You know, it's just more about the proverbial, we're all in this together. We really, really are. We have been a long time before COVID, we were in it together. And I hope my children will notice that we've tried to do something positive for our community. I hope they will. You never know about kids.
Well, it is. It's important for them to see, you know, especially with the parents being role models and making a difference. And like I said, using their efforts to be able to help others. So the holidays are around the corner. That's a great gift giving opportunity, obviously. So when you look at prime season, the holidays around the corner, always a good opportunity, especially when you think about birthdays, anniversaries. Any gift giving season is perfect for what you do. But talk about the different ways the community can help. And obviously for what you do, like you said, the e-commerce side, literally anyone around the world has an opportunity to help your efforts. So how can we help?
That's really is the main thing. You know, we base our hiring decisions on how much product that we can sell. You know, the goal has always been to be self-sustaining, and it gives us really just so much of a positive feel when we get orders online. My phone is set up to, it does a cha-ching when an order comes in, and the gals in the workshop, they hear it and they get so excited. So that's, I mean, just buying our products is the very best way to help us. And talking about us, sharing our social media, that's a huge way to help. Even if you don't need something yourself, if you'll share our social media post, that's a big deal for us. Telling your friends about it. You know, the real beauty of our products is that they don't have to fit. There's not a size involved, and everybody needs bags of different, we have smaller bags. There's something for everybody. And I just have to give a shout out to our customers. We have the best customers. They are so loyal, and they keep coming back. And that's just really what helps us grow, because it's time for us to grow. If we're going to sustain the programs that we want to create for women in residential program, now's our time. We really have to get out there and do more.
We'll wrap up. That's an easy segue into your contact information, your website, your social media handles. Where do we go to learn more and to make those purchases?
Well, of course, we have a beautiful workshop here at 107 West Westbrook on the historic square in downtown Troy, Tennessee. If you're driving through West Tennessee along Highway 51, please do stop. Come in. You'll love what you see here. Most people are not able to do that, but they can find us online at OUTsideInWorks.com, at OUTsideIN Works on Instagram and Facebook and Pinterest as well. You can see a vast array of beautiful products. I like to say our products are strong and beautiful, just like the women who make them.
I love it. That's awesome. So once again, the website is OUTsideInWorks.com. LeEllen, thank you for all you do, you and your amazing team. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thank you so much, Jeremy, for having me.